Bring us your baffling.
Bring us your audacious.
We want your sticky notes, sketchbooks, and scribbles. Let's pin them to the wall, kick them around.
Kick them around, see what happens.
Because we're in the how do I get this startup off the ground business.
The taking your business, global business.
We're in the problem-solving business. 400,000 people.
Ready to help you solve problems while they're still called opportunities.
From figuring it out to getting it done.
We're here to help.
Well, it's if you're going to come into your home opener against a conference opener against Ohio, it's nice coming off of a victory and a solid victory. So I'm excited about the fact that our players really stepped up and really, I think, improved ourselves overall as a football team last week and got ourselves ready to now get into our conference play. So a very good performance. It should propel us into a good week of practice to prepare for one of the usual contenders in the Eastern Division for the conference championship, Ohio University. So we're excited about that and ready to move forward. I hate to sit here and be nostalgic 4 games into the season, but it is. I think it was a very good. I think at Toledo, my second year, the last game of the season. It's the second year we beat Toledo at home. And they're a bowl team. I think they would have gone to a bowl if they hadn't lost that game. And they're just one of the teams that are considered one of the top teams in the conference. Pitt and this one. It's just it fit into that category. Again, I don't want to make too much of it. It was a game where we won offensively, defensively, and in the kicking game, and in a game and against a team that's really a team that. They're down there. They don't know a lot about the MAC, and up here we don't know a lot about the Sun Belt. But that team is one of only 2 teams in the country, them and Oregon, who won 9 games and bowls each of the last 4 years. And they, and that game was that was one that we knew was going to be a very, very tough game. A 3rd bowl team on our schedule, and we played for us to go out there and get after them and pretty much get that game under control in the second half, the late 3rd quarter. I was just. It was very, very, very good win for us. This business only goes week to week. That game was a great win for us. It's an important win because there's your Mid-American Conference goals, which we'll start working on this week. There's your December goals that each game has equal importance, and that one was an important one. So I'm real proud of them. But these games go week to week, and it only lasts for 7 days. You don't get a whole lot of time to enjoy it. We got on a plane. We got back into Akron at 4 a.m. And, we're doing our TV show the next morning at 10, and we're meeting. The players are here by 1 o'clock, so they got a little bit of sleep, and we're on the next game. So, unfortunately, when you play these night games on the road, there is no time to enjoy it. I mean, hopefully the players got to enjoy Sunday, having a good win. No practice on Sunday. They can get up and go to church and then relax, hopefully. But by Monday, we're working on the next game. So there really isn't a time to savor that. It's just that I believe practices are every now and then you like the attention that a tough loss gets to you, but nothing does more for you than a good victory. No, Tommy had a very good game, and he's really solidified himself as our starting quarterback. Does that mean Trevon Chapman does not need to go ahead and work and get ready for his opportunity? Or Kyle Pohl, who's now come back from his head injury 100% ready to go. So I think, I have this sneaky feeling, and maybe we all have that after Ohio State last year, that you better have everybody ready, and you better not use that as an excuse for losing. And everybody gets ready, and we'll see how this thing plays out. But Tommy Woodson had a very, very good game last week. But last year against Ohio, he got the starting nod, and we had 3 turnovers in the 4th quarter last year in a game that we very well could have won. I don't want to say should have. That's unfair. Very well could have, but we turned it over 3 times in the last quarter with chances to win and then tie. And so we've got to Tommy had an outstanding game, and now must grow from that, continue to improve. I want to say that was his first start against Ohio. And the biggest thing was he was just learning how to if a play is covered, it's not all plays are work. The defense wins some, and you got to be willing to recognize somebody's covered, or you can't throw it, or you got to recognize this one is not the opportunity is not there. Just to take what they give you. So I think I believe we've got a lot more experience right now with Tommy Woodson, and an understanding of managing the offense. But again, this team will really test us. Their defense has played very well. They're 3-1, and their team's played very well. So we'll get tested because this is a very, very good defense. And I don't know what their turnover margin is, but I bet you it's pretty good. I've seen a lot of turnovers that their defense has created. Know that much. I haven't looked at the other side of the ball yet, but I don't know. I bet it's pretty good. So he's. I think the biggest thing is he's more experienced, and I think he's understanding. That was his first start last year against Ohio, and it was we had plenty of opportunities to win that game. We really opened it up starting Savannah State, and we just started to move forward from there. But I think, and I maybe I can take the blame for not trying to open it up more against Oklahoma and Pitt. We were just moving through our schedule, doing the things we thought were best at the time we played everybody we played, we've run the ball for over 200 yards the last two games. We want to be a better running team. We wanted our quarterbacks to be involved in the running game. Our quarterback had averaged about 10 or 11 yards a carry last week. And so we're starting to get the things we felt would help make us better. More running game, and then a quarterback involvement in the running game a little bit. And now we've kind of tried to take a lot of the passing things that we've done over the last 3 years and incorporate that in there. So all those things are part of what we're trying to do. We just got to make sure that we don't. We won the turnover battle last week, and that's part of it. You've got to Ohio. We've got to make sure against Ohio that we continue to understand that our defense is pretty good, and our defense plays pretty good football, and we've got to understand that punting isn't so bad once in a while. And we've got to play. There's so many teams that score. You know, people think that it's a great when a game is 56-47 that it's a great football game. And I'm to get suckered into that too. I mean, in the last 5 to 10 years, we all get suckered into the fact, hey, that's a great football. Well, some defensive coordinators getting yelled at back behind closed doors. I promise you, 50. But we see a lot of it. So we've got to recognize that with our defense, offensively, we got to be manage our offense, take what they give us, don't be willing to punt, and not out there playing somebody else's game. Well, if there was a game-changing play or a game that may not have been it, but have been half of it. The first half was a stop on 4th and 1 on the goal line, and the other half was we knew we tried to get it out far enough. We got it about 6 yards off the goal line, so we got a normal distance punt. We have to have about 15 yards to get a punt off. So from the 4th and 1 stop to their fumble, because all you've done is delayed the score. If they just catch that ball on the 50 and can push one in by half, they've got the score tied at 14-14. So your defense stopped them on 4th and 1. You punted to them and you recovered the fumble. So huge. So I guess I'm answering your question. It was a huge change of events. They don't score from 4th and 1 on the 1. We recover a fumble. And we go into halftime up 14-7 with a very positive attitude in there. And if they scored there, because remember, Pitt scored right before the half, Oklahoma scored right before the half, and it kind of took the wind out of our sails a lot. And so that was we talked about that on Friday night, how important the end of the first half was. Yeah, we've looked at all their film. We haven't slept much since Sunday when we got in the office. That's what we tend to do on Sundays and Mondays is do nothing but evaluate film, so that by Tuesday today we can have a game plan. So really, we've looked at and they'll be ornery. We'll both be ornery. They will be ornery, and we will be ornery as well. It'll be an ornery game, I promise you, because it's in the Eastern Division. And we've lost. Even the first year I was here, we lost a game at the last of the game. We lost one last year in the fourth quarter, and then the rain game, we didn't play well against them 2 years ago. But they'll be ready to play. Everybody knows this one is a conference game. You know, used to be your homecoming game was against somebody that you had for homecoming, but nowadays it's what's the best date that your alumni can have to tie in with all the other school activities. This is one of the perennial or annual. I don't know if it's called or annual or perennial annual conference contenders. Ohio is usually first or second in our league, in our side of the ball, and they're right there at the edge. So we know it's a big game. They're a well coached team. They're a good football team, and been a while since Akron's beaten Ohio. It's and again things come in moment. Things come in groups in football, but that was huge. We talked about that at halftime. The one drive they scored, we had 15-5, 35 yards of penalties. The first drive that they scored on. They don't have those penalties, and again there were hands to the face calls that were just, it seems to be a point of emphasis this year, and pass interference calls. We just have to eliminate that. Again, I think they had more penalties than we did even, so it was a penalized game. Sometimes officials it gets to be a penalized game, but we have got to we've got to improve on our penalties. I just think I say that every week to our players. I say we want to win close ball games. Teams. What happens when you've been a part of a great program or several great or teams that win all the time? I used to do stats when I was in broadcasting and writing for Yahoo. The most penalized teams are the ones that win all the time, and there's never a correlation. But the coaching staffs that take programs and turn them around and win their close games are the teams that aren't penalized. What happens? It's a bad analogy. It's a bad comparison to say, well, that Florida State they used to win every game, or Oklahoma. Well, they're reckless. They're always up. They have penalties and nobody cares. The officials are trying to help the other team out. But all those things don't matter, because if you study the teams that win their close games and really take programs and turn them around, you got to get to where you win that penalty situation. That's a part of being a disciplined team and not playing behind the chains. And Marshall lost to Ohio 21-10. 6 of the first 7 possessions, 5 of the first 6 possessions, they faced 1st and 20 or 1st and 25. 5 of the very first 6 possessions. And they're not the type of team this year that can go out there and make all those things happen. So they pretty much weren't going to get anything done. And we if we didn't have a 3rd and 13 touchdown, a 3rd and 9 touchdown, a 3rd and 2 68-yard run, our penalties would have done the same thing to us. So we have no illusions that we're good enough to overcome that all the time. Explosive plays make up for a lot of things. We're having some explosive plays right now that we've got to continue to. And Ohio doesn't give up a lot of explosive plays. 6'4", 225 right now, and you can only put one guy on top. I guess you could put 2 on him if you could, but Jerome has great skills, and he's learning how to be a receiver. But I can't say what other people need to do. But he can make big plays. But we've had some other guys. Austin Wolf has scored a couple of touchdowns. Anthony Young has had some deep balls. We've had some guys that Amani Davis caught a big touchdown pass. So we've had some guys that go deep. But Jerome, that's one of the things that he's big and physical. It's hard to hold him up the line of scrimmage. If you're playing bump and run with nobody behind you, he's a hard guy to slow down from the very get-go. When Jerome, finding a place for Jerome probably would have been a genius wherever you settle down and got him to play. Again, Jerome needs, as he becomes more disciplined in his work habits, his practice routine, and learns how to do things. The great thing about Jerome Lane right now is Tyrell Goodman, because they play the same position, and Tyrell Goodman doesn't make mistakes. He lines up off the ball or on the ball, or he runs the right routes, or he blocks the right people. And so you can substitute each other. When you have to have a great block, or you have to have a very precise combination routes, you can use Tyrell Goodman. But when you got a one-on-one, and although Tyrell made some nice one-on-one catches, Jerome, you can work. They complement each other very well. I mean, you've got probably one of the most talented guys on our team in Jatavis Brown. The most talented. You got the best football, the best football IQ in Dylan Evans, maybe the best on our team in football IQ. Just knowing, onside kick, he recovers it. Interception, he deflects it to himself. He makes how many tackles he made against Pitt? 17, 18, 19 tackles against Pitt. He's all over the place. But he is. But those are 2 very good football players for us, and they're both guys that played a lot. It's 185, 190-pound freshmen, and they've got a lot of time under their belt. But Chuck Amata does a great job with them. That's not counting Daryl Monroe is playing as good as any middle linebacker we've had. since we've been here. Jatavis is a very hardworking, skilled athlete that plays. If hard work and practice habits and speed and toughness and intelligence go into the factor, he's 6 foot tall, but he's got all those factors. You know, I don't know that a lot of teams in this conference over the last few years have felt like they were going to come to Akron and lose. I don't think that's. I think we've had to overcome some difficulties the last few years, and all we can do is be the best we can do. I cannot project Ohio. They're well coached. They're football players. They put their pants on the same way we do. They built their program up. Frank Solich done a great job of building that program over time, and that's where they are right now. 10 years ago, I'm sure they were the people. Everybody said, let's get them on our schedule. They changed that culture of winning. That's what we're trying to do, is to change our culture of winning. We went into an environment down in Lafayette, Louisiana, and won a game we probably couldn't have won a few years ago. But now we've got to come back now to a team like Ohio that their confidence comes from winning, not from being arrogant, but from winning. Now we've got to go out there and play our best, and if our best is good enough, then we've got to go out and win that game. But we'll be excited to play. I know what you want me to say. We're going to be excited to play this game. We're going to play the best we can play, and we're going to work hard, and our guys are going to want to win that game, and so will they. And all you would want is that the best team win. We'll go out there, play our best, and the best team win. Actually, if we're not even playing that good, I'd want us to win anyway. So yeah, even if we were playing bad, no, I'd want us to win. I have no desire for the best team to win. I want the best team. I want us to win. But I would want us to play our very best, and mentally we'll be ready to play. We'll be ready for that, and we're excited about it. We got a lot of work to do this week. It's just Tuesday. We got to have a great week of practice on Wednesday and a great game plan practice on Thursday, and mentally get ready the last couple of days. Should have a great crowd, homecoming crowd, and they're getting a treat. Most time homecoming crowds have to play. They get to watch us play somebody that we pay to come in here and play us, but not this time. They get to see one of the better conference games that we'll see out there.